Hi, I'm Imogen with Music in Leicester. We are stood at the Villare Hotel, and with me is Luke Broughton. And here we are going to be talking about Luke's career in music and something that's really important to them. So, Luke, please just give us a little introduction about yourself.
Okay, so I'm a singer, songwriter, musician. I've been in Leicester for a little while, but I grew up in London, in South London. And I've been kind of working on a lot of stuff lately and actually have like my first release coming up, my first live release. So it's very exciting to talk to you about that and some of the other work I'm doing too.
Excellent. So, what inspired your music career? Was it when you came to Leicester, or have you always been inspired by music and wanted to associate that with the rest of your life?
I think I've always loved music, and it's always been a part of my growing up process. Like when I was very young, I always played music a lot, and I was very lucky to grow up in a household where like my parents had a vast musical collection. I was introduced to like Neil Young and Bob Dylan and the Byrds, and then like Kraftwerk and Talking Heads and all kind of things like that. My dad was in like a pretty kind of quite successful kind of rock, not prog, but like proto-punk rock band in the 70s and stuff. So music was very much a part of my upbringing.
Excellent. So it was a big part of your upbringing. How did you adapt your purpose within your music? So a lot of musicians, generally, they do music for a purpose. What's sort of your purpose behind the music that you perform and the music that you write?
I think in terms of like my music is really kind of it's what's kind of innately what comes to me innately and what I feel. So things that are important, things that have affected me throughout my life.
Yeah.
Like a lot of writers, obviously, things that like have a profound impact, relationships that you've had that are strong, people you've lost, people you've loved, and the more kind of existential things, the external factors in the world, and things that you kind of go through collectively and individually as you grow. They all inform what you write about. So I try to write very kind of mostly quite personally.
Yeah.
I suppose.
You can see that in the way you would like adopt your music and the way that you perform. You can see that there's a lot of like commitment to certain causes as well. So one of the causes being homelessness, mental health in homelessness, those kind of charities. So what do they mean to you, and how do you use your music to sort of spread that message and kind of spread that that purposeful sort of environment, you know, to care and be empathetic and share mental health problems, etc.?
I think I sort of, again, like a lot of my upbringing has a lot to do with that. So both of my parents were like youth and community workers. I was a youth worker when I was a teenager. I've worked with people with like learning disabilities. I've been a teaching assistant and worked as like a learning mentor around behavioural issues and stuff in schools. And I've always had that kind of sense of how important it is for people to have an ear and a voice to kind of express what they feel and what they're going through and their struggles, and going through various mental health struggles myself as well.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of very dear to me, and I suppose I feel very privileged now in a position where I work for like a homeless charity and an arts and mental health charity, and I deliver kind of music and art workshops with those people. And I mean, I had a session just on Friday where it was so immensely touching, like seeing the progress of some people that, like from what I understand, they've gone from being like in a mental health hospital only like maybe 8 months ago to like then like not leaving the house to like attending sessions to doing a gig to flourishing and kind of grasping hold of an instrument and just like taking it and running with it. And it's like it's very easy for me to like get preoccupied with my own personal kind of, you know, when you're an artist you think about career opportunities and that kind of very quite linear drive of like a release and sales and stuff.
Yeah.
But like bringing music back to this very pure sort of form of expression is like so touching and very grounding. It reminds me that that's essentially what it's really about, that can really connect people and like really improve people's lives like a lot.
Yeah, and I do agree that's the kind of message that you give, because not only do you contribute to spreading that awareness through music, from what you've just said now in this interview, you know, you've actually contributed so much more than what anyone else could probably recognise when you start talking about your personal life. So that's quite touching in a way, and it's quite purposeful and quite nice to see, you know, that not only are you kind of expressing this through music, you're also expressing it through your sort of meaning as a human being. Have you got any performances, any upcoming gigs in which you are going to, for example, potentially, you know, kind of cite that for charity, or do share?
Yeah, so in terms of like the mental health charity and the homeless charity, which is the Bridge, Homelessness to Hope in Leicester, that
The Bridge,
I work for,
yeah.
and Bright Sparks, I'm putting on a fundraiser to raise money for Bright Sparks, and that'll be incorporating a lot of the people that kind of go to that organisation. We'll have like a comedy section, like our bands, the Bridge band, are going to perform. And some other artists as well are going to come and add their kind of contributions to the bill.
Yeah.
That's going to be at Duffy's Bar on Sunday, the 20th of November.
Duffy's, 20th of November. So that's going to be your charity fundraiser that you're going to be contributing towards.
Yeah.
And did you say there's going to be other musicians, other comedy and stuff?
There will be, yeah.
So it's going to be a very sort of creative, energetic night, a really wholesome night, let's say.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And hopefully it'll inspire people to recognise their privileges and consider everyone else who's going through some tough spots and help support them as well. So I think it's a really, really lovely contribution that you're doing.
Yeah.
And I think everyone else would consider you a very incredible person for doing that.
I mean, I don't know about that. I mean, it's like, it's just what I feel to do. And I think so many people are making an impact in the way that they see that they can. And that's what we rely on right now more than ever, I think, because like, I can say this, when, in my opinion, government have failed, like almost all of a population, so drastically, so unequivocally, and services are stripped to the point where things aren't working anymore, and people are basically left to fend for themselves, then it really has come down to like the community to support each other and do what we can, basically, to give people platforms that even maybe used to be there, but the truth is they're not there now. And I'm also aware that at the same time I ask for support, that we're in an economic crisis and living costs are spiralling, and that's hard for everybody. But then I would also ask everybody to kind of value, like, or try to decide like what really matters.
Yeah.
Because to come to an event like this that really will change people's lives and give them confidence through supporting is the price of like one pint.
Yeah, exactly.
And if the arts aren't worth that, they will be lost. And they are. I believe they are. I think when we all sit down and think about it, we know that they are too.
Yeah, very kind of emotional sort of words that you've just said there, and it's definitely going to make people think, and hopefully that message echoes in that gig. On top of that, have you got any other upcoming gigs coming?
I do, and honestly, like I'm really actually quite proud to be able to say that like I have a live EP launch.
A live EP launch, incredible.
Yeah. So like I did like a gig last week at HMV, which was really great, just to kind of showcase it. It will be available there sometime this week, I think.
It'll be sold in HMV?
It will be.
That's a really, really good,
cool.
Amazing, well done.
And I worked on it with, I must give a shout out to Nick Rose at Firebug.
Incredible, yes.
Who's been a massive champion of mine from the start, and
hugely
recorded the live set beautifully, and we spent like weeks sort of mixing it back and forth and kind of working together on it, and he's put an immense amount of time and effort into it, for just out of pure love for it, and that's very touching. And so I'm really pleased to be having an actual official launch party for that, which will be at Duffy's Bar again. I love that venue, they're great people.
Yeah.
And that will be on the 19th of November, Saturday 19th of November.
19th of November, yes.
There are still some tickets available, but I'm very pleased they are selling really, really well. So I'm really thankful for that. You can get them at www.brownpapertickets.com. Again, it's £5 in advance or £10 to have an EP as well with it.
Yeah.
And beautiful musicians on the night. JJ Lovegrove, an incredible artist. Honest Dave, Matt Rogerson, who's a collaborator of mine.
Amazing.
also looking at putting a really incredible kind of visual thing together for the whole show as well. So
That's one thing that I like to see. I like to see some visuals as well. Is it going to be unplugged, or are you going to have a band there?
you know, I'm not gonna like reveal that yet, but I've got some
asking
plans.
for too much.
Well, no, I've definitely got something very special that you haven't seen me do this yet. So I think I think it's going to be a beautiful night and a celebration of art, and I'm proud to have something in the world that I've actually made, and it's probably overdue, but it's good.
Yeah, probably very overdue from what I remember seeing of you the last time we saw each other. So 19th of November, it's going to be incredible. So this is Luke Broughton. Any additional things you want to say, for example, your social medias?
Yeah, you can find me just about to relaunch a new website actually, so that would be lukebroughton.com. You can find me at Facebook at like Luke Broughton Official, Instagram like Luke_Broughton_, and Twitter and all those kind of things. And yeah, you'll see me around.
Excellent.
Basically.
So we've got the publicity, we've got the socials, we've got the purpose. Thank you so much for being here. I've really enjoyed interviewing you.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Cheers.
No, anytime.
Cool.
Okay.